Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here with us today. Look, we're going to jump right in because our goal today is a pretty massive, exciting transformation. We're going to take you from being an overthinking, maybe slightly hesitant communicator and turn you into a truly confident, magnetic conversationalist. We're going to break down the literal mechanics of social interaction so you can finally stop dreading conversations and actually start enjoying them. Okay, let's dive into this. We all know that deeply relatable pain of conversational anxiety, right? I'm talking about the sweaty palms, the intense fear of saying the wrong thing, and oh man, those dreaded awkward silences. But the truth is, when we hesitate, we aren't just protecting ourselves from embarrassment. We're actually letting our own overthinking steal massive opportunities right out from under us.
Picture this. Imagine a guy named Akash. He's an introvert, sitting on his college campus, and he sees someone wearing a hoodie of his absolute favorite cricketer, Virat Kohli. Akash really wants to talk to him, but for 5 whole minutes, his brain just spirals. You know the drill. What if he ignores me? What if I sound totally stupid? And while Akash is literally paralyzed by this fear of judgment, another guy just walks right up, doesn't overthink a single thing, and casually says, "Bro, Kohli fan?" Instantly, the guy's face lights up, and they start talking like old friends. Akash realized right then and there that a simple line could spark a great connection. But if you wait around overthinking it, someone else is going to take your place.
Now, here is an incredibly comforting revelation for you. When you are terrified to speak up, there is a 90% chance the other person is feeling the exact same anxiety. It's literally human nature. The source material points out that even animals get nervous. Cats, street dogs, even those giant bulls wandering the streets in UP get totally startled when approached. The point here is, even the people who look incredibly put together and confident on the outside are more than likely dealing with their own internal nerves. So, here is the actionable playbook we're going to run through today. Overcoming fear of judgment, how to start conversations, using the Ford method, asking open-ended questions, becoming magnetic and likable, and finally, your daily connection tracker. Step 1. Overcoming fear of judgment. Look, internal mindset shifts are absolutely crucial before any external tactics can actually work. You have to realize that people simply aren't judging you as harshly as you think they are. To give you an example, our source's biggest fear used to be talking to girls. One day, he nervously gathered every ounce of courage to ask a beautiful classmate for her water bottle. He was terrified, but when he finally approached her, he noticed something totally shocking. She was blushing, hesitating, and clearly nervous too. That realization instantly took the pressure off. Once you realize the other person is likely just as anxious, well, the whole interaction stops being a stressful test and becomes a fun game. Moving on to step 2, how to start conversations. Now that we've kind of cleared those mental hurdles, let's look at the practical mechanics of actually breaking the ice with strangers. Finding an instant connection relies heavily on commonalities. If you see someone with a smartwatch or reading a book you recognize, boom, that's your natural entry point. But what if they're totally different from you and it feels like you have absolutely nothing in common? That's when you use the ultimate fallback trick. Observe and relate. Look at their accessories, compliment their cool sneakers, and just ask where they got them. It's natural, it's super easy, and it gets the ball rolling immediately. Step 3. Use the Ford method. Okay, so you've broken the ice, but now, what do you actually talk about? Well, we are going to introduce you to the ultimate safety net for conversational topics, so you never ever run out of things to say. Enter the Ford method. It stands for family, occupation, and recreation. It's this beautifully simple, structured tool that makes talking to literally anyone feel like an absolute breeze. If your mind ever goes blank in a chat, just remember this acronym. Let's break this down real quick. For family, you can casually ask about their siblings or friends. For occupation, ask how their job prep or their studies are going. For recreation, dive into what they genuinely love doing in their free time. And as a bonus safety net, you can always lean on trending topics. Ask if they caught that insane cricket match last night or what they got about the movie Pushpa 2. These questions provide such an easy, completely foolproof framework for engaging strangers without any of the usual stress. Step 4. Ask open-ended questions. And this brilliantly illustrates how we combat the absolute worst enemy of all good conversations, the dreaded awkward silence. This silence usually happens when a chat hits a dead end purely because of how we frame our questions. Think about it. If you ask a closed-ended question like, "Do you like football?" the answer is just going to be yes or no. The conversation literally dies instantly. But if you ask an open-ended question like, "Which football team is your favorite and why?" you force the other person to share details, explain their reasoning, and naturally sustain the flow of the chat. You gotta always aim for open-ended questions. But what if you ask an open-ended question and they still seem kinda disconnected? Well, there is a super powerful psychological trick for that. Match their energy. If they are speaking really calmly, use a relaxed, chill tone yourself. If they are highly energetic and animated, raise your enthusiasm to meet theirs. Doing this instantly builds an unseen connection and totally prevents the interaction from feeling jarring or out of sync. Step 5. Become magnetic and likable. So far, we've really just talked about getting the conversation going. Now, let's shift the narrative from simply talking to deeply connecting. To become truly magnetic, you need to show genuine interest in the other person's life. Honestly, act like a podcast host interviewing Elon Musk or Virat Kohli. Give them the space to share their struggles. Like, if they make YouTube videos, ask them about the grind. Let them vent about those brutal 10-hour editing sessions. And please avoid the modern bad habit of just waiting for your turn to speak. Actually listen actively. Finally, try to add value to their life. If they mention a specific problem, recommend something helpful, like maybe a great self-improvement channel you've been watching lately. Using this approach creates what the source beautifully calls the Shah Rukh Khan effect. Think about it. Despite being a massive global superstar, when Shah Rukh Khan meets normal everyday people, he asks about their lives, not his own. He makes them feel like the single most important person in the room. When you prioritize the other person's story over your own, you become an absolute conversational drug that people are just naturally drawn to. And finally, step 6, your daily connection tracker. Look, all this theory is fantastic, but execution is absolutely everything. Let's turn this playbook into real action. So the crucial point is this social interaction checklist. Before you walk away from any conversation, just take a really quick mental lap through these points. Ask yourself, did you observe and relate? Did you use the Ford method? Did you ask an open-ended question? Did you match their energy? Did you actually listen without interrupting? Holding yourself to this mental checklist is going to ensure you are actually applying these tools in real life, every single day. And to help you stay accountable, here is your daily connection tracker. This is a very tangible way to measure your progress. I highly recommend challenging yourself over the next few days. Keep track of how many people you approached, whether you actively remember to use the Ford method, and if you successfully match their energy. What gets measured gets managed, right? This tracker is basically your blueprint for growth. Which leaves us with one final incredibly important thought. You have the playbook now. You know for a fact that the other person is likely just as nervous as you are. You have the conversational tools to break the ice, and you have the tracker to measure your success. So I have a challenge for you. Who is the very first person you are going to approach today? Seriously, don't let overthinking